gentlemen, welcome again to the Pitchside Podcast channel. I'm your host, the HOD of the BSB, and welcome to this very special video, I would say. As you can see on the screen, this is the lineup that I chose, of course, and from the title of the video, you probably understand this is my Premier League starting 11 for the 2020-2021 season, halfway through. I think it's enough now. We played about 15 weeks, of course. I'm recording this as the Boxing Day weekend is going on, so it's not exactly 100% up to date, but it is, I think, decent enough time, and we had a decent enough time to look at these players and for me to decide this starting 11. Of course, obviously, you will feel that I am too biased to certain teams, probably, to certain players. Feel free to do that, to criticize that from me. Comment, of course, on the video what you think of this lineup and who you think should have been in it, who you think shouldn't have been in it, who do you think deserves a place, maybe an outside pick that I didn't think of. Tell me all of that in the comments below. Most importantly, like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel, of course, if you like this content, and enable notifications to receive all the updates of this kind of content, the podcast and the match recaps and all of that on this channel. Let's crack on with the list. Sorry, not a list, a lineup straight away. Let's crack on with the lineup, of course. Martinez as a goalkeeper. I don't think that there is a lot of people who probably debate me on the choice of Emiliano Martinez as the goalkeeper for this side. He's been tremendous, the goalkeeper with the most clean sheets in the Premier League, and that is quite a big tally to have in the Premier League this season, where it seems like all teams do not know how to defend and most teams concede goals plenty. Emiliano Martinez has been a big part in Aston Villa's brilliant season so far. They're staying strong and staying close to the top of the table. The guy kept 11 clean sheets, which is, bonkers. You keep in this number of clean sheets this season, you know that you're doing something right, and Aston Villa for sure are doing something right this season. He is the big sort of pillar that Aston Villa revolve around this season in their goalkeeping, in their defence. He is absolutely brilliant. As a substitute for him, I chose Karl Darlow from Newcastle United. He has also been decent. I've been tempted to choose Nick Pope, or Edward Mendy really for Chelsea, but I think Emiliano Martinez just about edges Edward Mendy and edges these kind of goalkeepers in that position. Moving on, I chose 4 players in the defence. My formation, by the way, is 4-2-3-1. Obviously, you can see that on the screen. I chose Wesley Fofana and Ruben Dias from both Leicester City and Manchester City, respectively, as my centre-half pairing. And obviously, I know that probably there will be some people jumping, saying, I don't know, Thiago Silva, maybe Yannick Vestergaard for Southampton, but I think Fofana and Ruben Dias for me are the best pairing at the moment that one could pick. In my opinion, Ruben Dias added so much solidity for Manchester City that they needed over the last couple of years in the defence. Wesley Fofana coming in from the Ligue 1 from Lille at 20 years of age. The guy has really settled down with Leicester really well. He's doing very good alongside Jonny Evans, learning so much from an experienced head in Jonny Evans as well, adapting to the Premier League style really quickly, and I think he's one of the best around in terms of that position. On the right back, I chose Reece James. Really, there's not much quality in terms of the right back position in the Premier League at the moment, and yes, there are a lot of decent ones that I probably could talk about. Maybe I would say, Seamus Coleman would be a shout, but he's too old in my opinion. Again, remind me in the comments if I missed any pick in that position. Obviously, you will find someone that I missed, but in my opinion, Reece James is the best probable choice that I could come up with right at the moment. Sitting someone like Cesar Azpilicueta on the bench for all the tenure that he had at Chelsea with 9 years and going takes some talent, and Reece James is the guy who has that talent for me. Yes, he had a couple of bad performances this season, but I think overall he deserves his place on this lineup. On the left-hand side, I think personally this is one of the choices that I can't accept any debate on really. Andrew Robertson has been the best left back, and I know People will jump in as well on this one and say, but there is Chilwell in there, and there is, I don't know, probably they would think about, I don't know, Joao Cancelo for Manchester City. He's been doing fine as a left back, and I give you credit. Both those guys have been decent, but I think Ben Chilwell does not have as much impact as Robertson has on Liverpool, or Joao Cancelo does not even have the same sort of drive as Robertson has. And I know people would say Robertson has a sort of still to work on defensive aspect to his game, but in my opinion, I'm not gonna even discuss this with anyone. Robertson is my prime left back. That's done and dusted. Moving on to the partnership in the central of the park, of course, and I'm starting with my holding central midfielder, and I'm choosing Emil Højbjerg. And I'm choosing him for one simple reason. He plays with Tottenham, a side that Jose Mourinho has grown up to become, I'm not going to say ultra defensive, but quite tight and robust in terms of playing forward football. And someone like Emil Højbjerg brings so much intensity, so much work rate, so much fitness, so much leadership, I think, to that midfield. He's the kind of guy that is a mixture of both the old school destroyer at the central of midfield, where he just intercepts ball and he's tackling and he's having strong barges into players, plus he can transition well into the attack and he can start a good counter-attack for Tottenham, a side that relies a lot on that kind of play. In my opinion, Højbjerg is the best acquisition for Tottenham this season and he's doing absolutely well. I was tempted to put Sissoko alongside him. Really, I'm impressed. The guy is so underrated somehow with Tottenham, but I'm not gonna say anything else about Højbjerg as well. He is a beast of a midfielder. Former Southampton teammate Ian Ward-Prowse joins him as a part of that midfield as well. He will be the proper box-to-box midfield player, in my opinion. He's incredible. He's been terrific. He not just, I think, the best free kick taker in the world at the moment. I mean, try fight me on this one in the comments all day long, but I think James Ward-Prowse takes those free kicks like no one's business. Not just that, set piece play altogether. He's one of the most dangerous set piece takers in the world. He takes corners and takes free kicks absolutely brilliantly. He also adds an incredible dynamic sort of nature to Southampton play. This season has improved a lot in terms of moving the ball around, seeing the players in front of him and giving the right pass when it matters. He deserves every international call that he will get. He deserves all the praise, that he would get from any pundit in the world. I was also tempted to put Curtis Jones in there. I'm really impressed with that youngster with Liverpool this season, but I don't think he contributed enough. Yes, he plays well and he has the technical aspect of the game down to a T, but I don't think he contributes enough to intercept and to steal the place of James Ward-Prowse here on this lineup. As a central advanced midfielder, or a CAM in FIFA terms, there is no escape from it. If you don't choose Bruno Fernandes for this position as a number 10, I mean, you're crazy, really. Bruno Fernandes, incredible since his arrival at United, and in this season he seems like the most important player for that United organism. You saw against West Ham in the first half, he wasn't there, so he felt missed, and Man United missed his presence on the pitch. When he came on in the second half, it showed really the difference between a Bruno Fernandes-less United and a side that has Bruno Fernandes in it. He supplies the attackers very well and he scores himself, like he takes part in scoring, of course, but I think the most brilliant aspect about him that he can adapt just about in any place in that midfield behind the strikers. He cannot be a proper striker, of course, but he can adapt anywhere, whether it's going to be deep, right under the striker, or on the wingers. He even played as a false nine in certain games, and you could not debate the fact that he is doing very, very well at that job. Moving on, and the front line, of course, certainly this is one where I don't think a lot of people will debate me this season. On the left-hand side, of course, there is Son Heung-min. He is tremendous. This is probably his best season with Tottenham, and his link up with the striker of this lineup, spoiler alert, or probably you see it on the screen, so how is that a spoiler? Harry Kane has been tremendous, producing a lot of goals. At the moment, Son stands with 10 goals in the Premier League tally, with 8 assists as well, contributing in 26 goals combined between him and Harry Kane. Makes him, I think, the best left winger at the moment in the Premier League. Again, this is one we probably could say, but Sadio Mane is doing well as well. I don't think that Sadio Mane started the season really strong, well, as Son came and hit the ground running practically since the second match, because the first match wasn't exactly good, but since the second match I think Son and Kane hit the ground running and have the best partnership in the moment in Europe. On the right wing, of course, Mo Salah, I don't think you would really debate this one as well. Salah returned to his probably near his best form, which is the first season for him at Liverpool, topping the charts, sitting at the top of the charts in the scoring in the Premier League with 13 goals at the moment. The guy has been on fire, and people have been doubting his performances in the last couple of months in the latter end of the season last time out, but I think there's no point in debating the influence of Salah on the team. The rumours of him leaving are intensifying at the moment, and it's going to be a shame not to see him in that side in later seasons, of course. But I think for the moment you cannot debate the fact that he is having his place in the starting lineup, and of course the striker of this side is Harry Kane. There's no debate about it. I think most people can agree that Harry Kane is the best striker at the moment in the Premier League in terms of scoring, and his play has been incredible. His link-up play with Son Heung-min, the way he drops into the midfield to set the space and to play as a sort of false nine, setting up the space for the wingers coming behind him, whether it would be Son Heung-min, whether it would be Lucas Moura, Steven Bergwijn, Eric Lamela, Lo Celso, you name those players, he sets up the space for him. He's so pivotal, and yes, his play might be aggressive and, you know, a little bit rude and violent a little bit, and yes, the media covers that a little bit up, but I don't think you can debate his efficiency and his incredible effect on the Tottenham as a whole. Him and Son feel like a whole different department on their own up the pitch. That's why I'm not going to accept any discussion. I'm not going to accept any other opinion about Kane. Probably I would say that Jamie Vardy comes close to him in that side. If I had a 4-4-2 formation, I'd probably put him alongside him and put Son and Salah on the wings, and probably take either Højbjerg or Ward-Prowse. Most important, I'd probably take Højbjerg and put Ward-Prowse in it, as well as Bruno Fernandes. But this is my starting lineup and this is my formation. I chose 4-2-3-1. I'm not going to change it. Continuing with the substitutes, of course, I mentioned Darlow, of course, when I talk about Martinez. I think he's doing very decently at the moment for a side like Newcastle United. He's proven himself. They're not expected to attack, so a lot of work comes his way, and he pulls out some brilliant saves. Go watch him, really. Go give him a go. He really settled so well that probably going to be hard to Martin Dubravka when he eventually returns from injury to find his normal place as the number one goalkeeper for Tottenham. As a replacement, both centre-half and centre midfielder at once, I think I'm going for Fabinho. He's having a great season at the moment. He settled really well. One of the most consistent players, I think, in Liverpool is Fabinho, whether as a centre midfielder now or as a centre-half as of late, of course, since the absence of Van Dijk. He deputised really well for the absence of Van Dijk, and he's doing really well, solidifying the defence of Liverpool when everybody expected them to crumble of some sorts, but Fabinho gave them a little bit more sense of security than they actually needed. Grealish just about makes it to the bench, and that is hard, I think. I know it's harsh on Jack Grealish because he's one of the leaders of Aston Villa at the moment as well, alongside the goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez, but I think the reason why he doesn't make the starting lineup is that, just like Curtis Jones, I think his contributions are really great, but I don't think that his effect on Aston Villa is bigger than the effect of, for example, Bruno Fernandes on Man United or Ward-Prowse on Southampton. And that is a very edgy kind of comparison. If you would say Bruno Fernandes' impact is like 70% on United's game, Grealish would be just down there, 65 probably to 60%. In the striker position as a replacement, Jamie Vardy. What replacement for a great replacement for a great striker, really. Jamie Vardy, you cannot outdo him at the moment in Leicester, really. He is important for them. At 35 years of age nearly, he's doing the necessary work, running the pitch, pressing, making the right goals and the right runs at the right time behind the defenders, still scoring goals, still creating chances. He is the wily old fox indeed for Leicester City, and I think he just about sits in the bench for Kane as well. Again, if I change the formation, I would have him alongside Kane, but I think that is the rightful starting 11 for me, and the rightful 4 substitute as well. Obviously, you're gonna not agree, and you're gonna disagree with me, so comment that below, like, share and subscribe to the channel, of course, enable notifications to receive all the updates of this video, kind of videos and the podcast episodes, the other content on this channel. I was your boy, the HOD of the PSP, and until the next video, goodbye.